Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm happy I get to come and share health with you. Just to remind you that God is the creator of heaven and earth. He is very powerful and He can recreate our lives if we cooperate with Him.
Amen.
So, health, as we understand it during this camp, health is obedience to God's law. And disease is disobedience to God's law. So when we obey God, then we have health, because we have Christ within us, the hope of glory. So it's very important that in order for us to reflect the character of God in us, we must have Christ in us. And He keeps us from disobeying His laws, because He can break His laws. This afternoon I thought we'll go over two topics, and that is cleanliness. One is cleanliness and the other one is a brief outline of how to treat a cancer patient. So I'm going to read from Ellen White's writing, some of the things they've copied in here, and then we can talk about, because if we are, cleanliness is next to godliness. If we look at the skies, apart from where it's just close to us, but above, we can see God's character. Everything is clean. When we go to heaven, everybody there is clean. So before we can go to heaven, we need to be clean here too. Personal cleanliness is very important, plus our homes and surroundings should be clean as well. So let me read from here. It says, in the time of Christ, individuals that were suspected to have a serious disease had to show themselves to the priest to be judged regarding the presence of such a disease. And this is leprosy, and normally when there is a leprosy in the camp, they put them aside in their own camps. And then when they think they are better, then they must go and show themselves to the priest. If the priest said they are clean, then they can come out from the camp to live with the community again. Okay, that's during the time of the children of Israel. Let's come back to Solomon Island and in the Melanesian culture. Like sometimes when we enter a home, when we go out and enter a home to visit the sick, normally the curtains are put down because the patient is cold. The house is dark because the curtain is down, so the sunshine cannot get in, to purify the air or to lighten the inside of the house, to get all the bad odor, bad smell out. And here is this patient sleeping inside this house. So then you look at the floor, and the floor is not swept, it's not mopped, and the patient is sleeping inside this house. Then you look at the linen and beddings, they are all not washed, maybe for 1 or 2 weeks, and the patient is sleeping on this bed. So you wonder why the patient is not getting better. It's because of the impurity that is still in there, can also add to the sickness that the patient had. So it's important that when a patient is sick, the environment that the patient is in must be clean. Sweep and mop inside the house if you can mop it, but at least sweep it and make sure that the linen that he's lying on, the bed sheets, pillowcase, the mattress, the pillows are also clean. And his clothes that he or she wears, it must be changed daily. If he sweats a lot, you change it at least twice a day. And that will help him or her to get better quickly too, because the skin is getting rid of wastes, plus the patient, if he's not moving around or getting up like that, he can easily get bed sores because he's lying on sheets or blankets that is wet. So that can also cause a bed sore. So it's good to change patient's linen that he's lying on. Also the environment. If your house have windows, it's good to clean the windows at least once a week. I think sometimes we don't clean windows at all, and we look at them, but we can look through to the outside because it's all black eye. But in health, we must clean the windows because that's where the air is coming in through to inside the house. So cleanliness is important of everything inside the house and outside the house. And when we go out and we see that maybe there's doggies' toilets or whatever animals we have is on the lawn, it's good to cover it. Like the children of Israel, when they were camping around Mount Sinai, God told them to cover everything. And so we should do that too, example that God has put it in His word for us to follow. Keep the environment inside and outside clean, so that when you receive a patient, he can recover quickly. Not only that, but it prevents sickness to the members of the family. So that is cleanliness. Also, all the plates, cups, and spoons, they should be washed straight away. Don't leave it for 2 days or 3 days or 1 week before you wash the saucepan. As sometimes it's a practice in some families. But as soon as we use those plates, spoons, cups, it should be washed, dried, and stored away tidily. Not just put them on the table, but they should be stored away properly. Because sometimes cockroaches might crawl over them, or flies, and they are the insects that spread diseases as well. Also, in the kitchen, you should have a towel for wiping the hands, and that's only for wiping the hands, not to wipe the dishes with it, because our hands carries germ as well. So if we wipe our hands on that towel and then wipe the spoon with it, we could transfer the germ onto the spoon or the forks or the plates, and then we can eat with it and then if our immune system is low, we can get sick that way too. There's a different one for wiping the dishes, knives, forks, spoons, cups, and another one for wiping the hands. So in the kitchen there should be 2 linen there, one the hand towel and the other one for tea towels to wipe the plates with. When I did this, when I first came to the Solomon Island and I had it in my kitchen, everybody said, oh, she's tough. But that's my principle, so it didn't upset me, because I know that it is right, and maybe later on they will follow. So personal cleanliness, house cleanliness, outside cleanliness is very important to the recovery of sick and for prevention of sickness too, Loyuni. Any question on that one?
Yeah, thank you. Every explanation and clarification is very clear. What I mean, daily visible method of hygienic and cleanliness. You cover most of our daily activities inside our house. Inside our what you can kind, how about using for food, kitchen utensils, and hygienic, and very interesting. And not only interesting, but then if you be aware from this is where we should come now, but enjoy life. But because ignorance, also ignore Okataya, very simple laws. This is why for a camp and it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we go back, it's good for, after the camp, it's good to clean our house, put things in order, open up the windows, and if they're dirty, to clean them. And if the curtains are black or if they've been washed, good. If they're not washed, we might have to do some hard work to clean those linen, clean the curtains, and clean the louvers. Put things in order, because God is a God of order and God is a God of cleanliness. And we practice cleanliness here. Everything here on earth is a school. Cleanliness is part of health too. We need to be clean too in order to be translated to heaven.
Yeah, excuse me. One common understanding of Melanesian culture that means Melanesian what we call Savala, that when a child is cold from fever, or that hat not open him door, or say not can open him door window to the cold. You don't believe look at that. But that one yeah, know me, you don't accept it.
Is it good to throw rubbish on the streets, Esther? Or
Yeah.
around the house?
We should not be throwing rubbish on the streets or just on. We're eating peanut and then we just throw all the rubbish out the windows. That's not good. Yeah, we should be good citizens. We should put the rubbish in the proper places. So, because if you throw it and then who is going to clean it up? You yourself. You're just multiplying your job again. So good when you have rubbish or what, put it in their proper place so that you don't have to worry about it again. And in the streets, the people in Honera Town Council are trying to keep the street clean, and we should be helping them by not throwing rubbish on outside the bus windows or cars windows on the streets, or even walking and just eat and throw things. That is not helping our street to look clean.
Is it good to go to the toilet on the beach?
So no, it's yeah. So don't throw rubbish on the streets or just near your house. Keep near your house clean. Keep the street clean. It makes the place and environment clean. And then many of us use the beach to go and use it for toilets or throw rubbish there. The sea comes back and brings all those rubbish to the shore. Then we go down there to the beach again and we step on them, or lots of dirty there. So in health, we should keep the beach area as well clean, as well as inside the house, as well as outside the house, as well as on the streets, we should not throw rubbish wherever we want, but we should put them in their proper place. And that is a good habit. So
Yeah.
remember, don't just throw your rubbish in the sea. It will come back to the shore where children used to go and swim there, or you yourself will go and swim there too.
Yeah, Esther, it is my point of view regarding throwing plastics and rubbish all about. Because with regard to health, and it is one of God's commandment, thou shalt not kill. But when you look to the extent of, if I throw a plastic there and it breeds mosquitoes, and the mosquito goes and bites a person and he gets malaria, and if he dies, that's the extent to a cleanliness and a habit that we must be taken into concern of cleanliness and throwing plastic. Because we might think that if we throw plastics just on the street and everywhere, we actually don't. To me, it's a concern, because when it breeds mosquitoes and kills someone and gets someone sick, it is me that is not seeing this as a cooperative commitment that I must do, especially in keeping the surrounding environment clean, because to that extent we are actually causing somebody's health. It is affecting somebody's health. Small things like that have a concern in our working together, in maintaining cleanliness in our environment. Because we might think that killing somebody is something that happens, that we see it in a bigger perspective, but when we throw a plastic and it breeds mosquitoes and kills a person, it is us that causing that situation, because we throw the plastic. Yeah.
So like the plastics and the tins that we just throw all about, will collect, if the rain comes, will collect water, and it's a good breeding place for mosquito that cause dengue and cause malaria. So if we don't want to get malaria and dengue, it's good to dispose of plastics and empty tins in the proper place so that it can be taken to the rubbish place. So cleanliness is very important. It prevents sickness as well. Make sure that those of us mothers keep our children clean, wash their clothes, dress them warm, so that you prevent them from getting sick as well. And then if we use cups, spoons, plates, saucepan, it's good to wash them that same time or same day, so that you can put them away clean. If you leave them, then fly sits on them. Maybe a child come and then get it and decide to eat with that particular spoon or drink with that cup. Then that's when they can get diarrhea as well. So it's good for us to think of cleanliness inside the house and of our family as well. Okay. So any more questions on cleanliness? Cleanliness is part of health.
Good. Thank you, Esther. Please have a wonder whether Solomon Island is a Christian country. How many, especially the throwing of rubbish, especially in Korea. Please, I wonder. Please, but Solomon Island is a Christian country because people are waiting for the second coming. They must be a Christian, where all practical, where something what I believe in now, yeah. And number by taking away. If I saw Elohim, time you go around the whole year, time you look at people just throwing rubbish here and there, left and right. Me, bus garage at one time, and now we still drive. We have a drive, man. People just throw rubbish out of windows and all that something. We started wonder, man, what I know by maybe for a year learn.
Yes.
How the bunny for the throw the rubbish, proper places, where to throw and all something. No Friday. Friday we go to place for throw the rubbish. I got to stop and we fall now. We say, now.
Ronaldo.
So, me just think also by when not people, how many cars have 20 trucks when we fall turn around from rubbish down there. Me say, when about people they go to the rubbish. Now me think, me quickly me think also, me say, one for a place for the rubbish, not a place also. So me turn around with the rubbish, no me go, put him straight inside, no wrong place for dumping rubbish. But me no sabe how no by also the Solomon Island, Bombay also you learn where to throw the proper place for rubbish. Because you is calling me say a Christian country, but no actual fact, me by about me, that's a big question. And one thing something too where we now is where you me as Christians you be waiting for coming from Jesus. You must go right now. Rubbish no proper place, especially the home. People still using beach. Me man, time me brought up me small and practice here now. Me for 17, but now time me looking now, yeah. Me say this must be stopped. Every single home, no, SDA village,
Yeah.
no, every village, no, you may work in people no coming, no big man. You may must work in proper talk. Because no heaven. No, we may expecting something where you mean to do them, by me not doing no there, no more. Something where you mean doing no this to earth, by me not doing no heaven. So now I'm really concerned on it, but me not say how not people look at these things.
Amen.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. So, you mean Christian, you mean must think him now, you're going to heaven, cleanliness is part of it too. The way you live here, you must try and practice cleanliness. And we must think like we cannot go to the beach in heaven to go and
No.
use it as toilet there.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thank you, brother. Me kami, before me also too. Mata mi baptized lo become 7 day. Hindi kilo dry pit. Kami lo garin mo kata drum slap ya. Wapori. Kami sun dry pit. Isa lo ulos karam lo sako. Tapos sako lim bon na o everyone lo pitsi no place ya. As no sako mo asis.
Yeah.
Asis lo paya. Itu usap so time usap. Take them something, cover them go, then cut them a little bit for satin. But then later on, then no proper, but go. This time, you quarrying, you run, go. Well, I think, not that it was really, at least to become an area, then not seriously done. You several times, brother believing the career. But I'm not the Bible said to put out of the type of bush. Thank you.
okay, very good.
And sir, normal too, yeah, or sir, suppose you like in clean spiritual life, you have to, in ultimate passing habits, practices, yeah.
Hey,
And or same too, apply peaceful
Yeah.
living, blaming. You must clean too, surrounding blaming inside the house. Wherever you may go, you need stop clean too. Or same too, inside law. Spiritual and peaceful, same. Suppose you say you to no you like for cleaning you lo man inside, but outside him gate, you know straight gate for prepare for him.
No more yet, no more yet.
thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because, yeah.
The one statement go, Sister by the Spirit of Prophecy, Testimony for the Church, Volume 5. Him say, not all, him say, not all who profess to keep the Sabbath will be saved. There are many, even among who teach the truth to others, will not receive the seal of God in their foreheads. Question 1. The complete statement. They had the light of truth. They knew their master's will. They had every point they say of our faith, they understood every point of our faith, but they had no corresponding words, or no corresponding words.
One for cleanliness.
One for not cleanliness. Something where you talk about. Then not problem. Kami reading this last statement, we say, oh, we must look lo miserana. No good time God and see people go any pass me by night. Any passing. So one very powerful statement. Apply to him, help living.
Yeah, helpful living.
Yeah, helpful living.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Christian means Christ followers. So Christ came from heaven and he expects us to go back to heaven. We have to leave off all our dirty habits and practice. And also make sure, if our homes are clean, people come and will think, oh, these people must be Christian. Must they look at the environment. So when I go to a home and the place is very dirty and the people are dirty, I think these people are not Christian. That used to come to my mind. So every Christian, make sure that we keep our homes clean and tidy, inside and outside. Because we come here to listen to the gospel that changes lives. And one of them, we're touching in health now, cleanliness. We've touched about all the other ones with the word of God that we've heard, and cleanliness is also part that we need to look into it. So this afternoon I thought I'll talk about, is that all? On cleanliness.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I think if people keep dogs, they should try and keep them so there's no mange on them.
Oh, what is mange?
Mange is a little thing that
Bites.
lives on the dog that makes it lose its hair. So
Fleas,
yeah, it can be fleas too, but it's mange is smaller than a flea, and because that must be an unhealthy,
yeah, they suck blood.
must be an unhealthy thing to be handling when you're handling your dog, and it has all that mange and stuff on it. Must be very unhygienic for children and for adults as well, but particularly children. Yeah, and the dog suffers too.
Yeah. So if we have animals, we must also keep them clean.
Yeah, look after them.
Yeah, look after them. I used to tell my children, don't take dogs if you can look after them, because they suffer.
Yeah.
Because I won't look after them. You want them, you look after them. So if you are not going to look after the dogs, don't take dogs. Because to me it's a sin if you don't look after the animal that you promised to take.
Correct. Yeah, based on the animal for protection, maybe before we keep him animal, dog, pussycat, by the time we come upon them, God and God protection, God angels, and him too, God still ever protecting me. We no need to keep him looking, we stop straight away. Because the time of Kolkata, the very first week we walk until we finish, we go to Tandok here, but Tandok here. What is such a mouth blocking? No one look about him. Everything. Ten pala, five pala, two pala, and come, but what is the no hit now? So we say, any stress to keep him dog. Or keep on cross, keep him dog, block it up. What para really cross now? Why don't do can go to man? Type for looking around on the book now. What you see, if God can allow protection plan for him, he no need to be dog. Dog can, but I'm not back home. But the building go to, he no go for steal.
Yeah, here in Honiara especially, dogs, we caught a lot of stray dogs that the city just wouldn't have control over them. If we have pets, dogs as pets, but the stray dogs will come and actually give them all these diseases, and these stray dogs are just beyond control. There's a lot of dogs out in the bushes. Yeah. So I don't know, but dogs are not very good animals. They are dirty. They bring sickness to our homes if we don't keep them properly.
We have lots of them come to our house from neighbors' dogs. And they come to use it as the toilet ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, just to conclude my story, it is my first time to be a colporter down at up there at Foxwood. I went and stand in front of the door of the two couples, these are Europeans, and while I was facing the both of them, a big dog came and jumped, a very long dog, and so his lips full of saliva. And when I introduced the books and the Bible, the dog came behind and jumped like this on my face. And suddenly, in my mind, because I know that Daniel was saved from animals, so in my mind, I meditated that the Lord who saved Daniel will save me. But then, there's a big belt tied around the neck of this big, huge dog. And the woman, the wife of that man, said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you hit?" But we said, "No, thank you." You see? First blow me, swim blow saliva, blame, oh. Then said blow me break, terus blow me here. Me no wear suyet, me only wear sulipa.
Did he lick you?
So you and tell me within 6 years, 7 years, local court, me never flare him any warning where I say, beware of dogs.
Yeah.
And somehow God works a miracle. Sometimes when I came to this place here, the dogs start to bark. Sometimes they just run away. So I ran away too. But people all now will say, "Oh, this man came here. They shoot my dog." So just sometimes I go from the dog, and sometimes I just stay until the owner will come. So you see. So from the time I told my best child here, Kate is listening, I said, "Oh, now we will finish to have some pet like the red parrot." She loves them very much. The red parrot here. You need to do what the person is, so you will keep him. No dog, no pussycat, no animal. Finish. That's the experience I get until now. It doesn't mean that I hate the animals. No, I love them. They are God's property and creation.
This dog. So, me if dog run toward me, I run. Yeah. A huge dog like that.
You'd die fright.
I think.
Especially if it licked you on the face.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Sometimes they ask me, "How did you came in? Why before I follow the gate?" Oh, the dog was barking at all. They just wagging their tail, sleep, left down.
Okay, Esther. Continue.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing, keeping the toilet clean. If you have a toilet in the house, make sure it's clean. Some toilets, when you go in, it's very black. So that's not good because it can bring sickness too to the family. Especially children go and then sit on that toilet. They can get diarrhea or they can get hepatitis. Yellow skin, we call it. So keep the toilet and shower room clean. Maybe just buy some soap powder or there's type of habit that you put inside this toilet and it really cleans it itself. So those are things that I think we need to say this afternoon on cleanliness. So if we want to be healthy and our diet is right, but cleanliness is not good, let's work hard to make our house clean and the environment clean. Also the streets and the beach. And don't forget, we are all getting ready for heaven. Let's practice cleanliness as well. Okay, now let's go to another topic. I want to talk about anti-cancer treatment. Mainly we'll touch on the food. So this diet can help prevent cancer as well as help the body to cure cancer. So I'm going to just list some of this I practice when cancer patients come in the clinic, and they get better. They get better, healthy and strong, and they go away and then they return to their old diet again. Then they get sick again. Then they come back and you help them, and then they go back again and get back to them. When after 5 years or after 3 years, they're still better, then they think they are better, and then they go back and do whatever they wanted to do, and then they get sick again. So the anti-cancer diet, I used to put them on garden foods, but it must be organically grown foods, no insecticide with it, pesticides. Because your body can pick it up. Like, I'm a vegan, but if I buy a cabbage that they just grade, I can feel it in my body too. So organically grown foods is what you can give it to cancer patients. Secondly, natural raw, it must be in the natural raw state. So try to give them raw food as much as possible. What to be cooked, cook, but what needs to be make as raw, give it to them raw. And we don't have blenders in the village and all that, but I'm very simple. I just use whatever they have in the house, and then educate them how to do it. So things like potatoes, rice, we should be cooking them. And dried beans. Then fruits, vegetables, nuts. I put the patient on anti-cancer diet, this one. The things that we don't have here, I won't mention it. Then vegetable proteins, green leafy vegetables, sprouted seeds. Some people give them lentils and alfalfa. Yeah.
Mung beans.
Mung beans, yeah. There's plenty mung beans now that you can make them grow. Avoid animal proteins. Avoid animal protein. No meat, no chicken, no sausage, no fish, no eggs, no milk. And they must not use butter to butter the bread or whatever. So those are anti-cancer cancer diet. Do not give them refined foods, processed foods.
Which butter you are talking about? Which butter we can use, which butter we must not use?
No butter.
No butter.
Coconut oil.
Across the board, no butter.
No butter. Avoid, don't give any processed refined foods.
Couldn't I use coconut oil? Got to give them an alternative. Olive oil.
You can give them olive oil and maybe I haven't used coconut oil yet. Maybe it's all right.
With
Have to-
cancer patients.
Would have to be cold
Virgin oil?
pressed.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Yeah.
I was thinking of market product. Since Dan was talking about money motivated, I think we are, actually, we will wait for leaders to come back anyway. We are actually living in the world trying to sustain life. Yeah. And actually, the motive behind actually seeing what you sell, especially in the markets, because sometimes making salad, sometimes we buy cabbages that are treated, but we don't know. That's where I see that it is very, very
Tricky.
how we can get a more organic vegetable from the market. But anyway, there's no way here. But the cancer,
Then
diet
keep
is
the
considered.
yes.
Yeah.
True.
It's very, very important.
Important. Then keep the windows open because fresh air is the food for the lung. Keep the windows, let the fresh air blow through the rooms. This is anti-cancer treatment. Because cancer cells don't like oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't like oxygen. They'll die if we saturate the tissues with oxygen.
What this time?
Okay.
So then deep breathing.
Yeah. They need to deep breathe in the morning, breathe in and out, and if they can walk outside, let them walk outside early in the morning. And then faith and proper mental attitude. Because people think cancer, once they say you have cancer, that's death now. But cancer can be cured.
Amen. Exactly.
We just have to look after them properly according to the knowledge we get from God. So you can start treating up cancer using this, and you'll see that they'll get better. That is an anti-cancer diet. Anti-cancer diet. And again, keep the room clean, their linen clean. You bath them on every day. And
What's
be confident when you're looking after them. Don't be anxious. Your faith must be strong in God, and then you pass that on to the patient.
Like, what about some of the herbs, like plant protects, like onion,
Yeah,
garlic,
you can give them onion, garlic,
and ginger. We used to cook
Ginger.
them with our food. There's no meat.
Turmeric,
turmeric,
moringa.
yeah, moringa. So that those ones we have here in Solomon Island.
Supplement for no meat in cabbage or that one.
Beans,
Beans.
beans, long beans, dried beans. Don't give them peanuts.
Okay.
Don't give them peanuts. Because peanuts has a fungus. If you eat a lot of peanuts, you can get enlarged liver as well. Gross fungus. So peanut is good, full of protein,
How
but
about roasted peanut?
moderately.
Roasted peanut. Roasted peanut.
Don't eat too. Things are good, but self-control. So seeds, almond nuts, walnuts, all those should be avoided. But peanuts should be avoided. Almond nuts, walnuts are good nuts. I know of a girlfriend of mine that used to eat a lot of peanut. Every time goes to the market, a bunch of peanut will be on her head. She can't sit down and finish that one by herself too. So yeah, so those are some of the things that you can do for the cancer patient.
Just one, what about the so good milk? So good milk, the one we use in there now?
Yeah, I used to give, when I was treating cancer patients, I used to give a bit for my patients. Soya milk is good.
So good's not the best.
It's not the best, but it's
Milk,
better
milk.
than nothing. Almond soya good. I normally use it. I give it with the oats. But yeah, not so good. But oats is good for them.
Thank you.
So definitely you have to avoid giving them, don't give them any animal food at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you see them pick up because their body just,
sugar.
no sugar.
No sugar.
Because sugar is in fruit. We have sunflower seeds here. What else do we have here?
Barley nut.
Yeah, nali nuts. Those are protein foods. Instead of using animal food, you can use those ones, seeds. And legumes, beans.
Nalina? From whose? No.
Nali nuts.
I'm okay.
Yeah. No oven.
Yeah. We'll no more. 5, 6 of them no more. One night, one for not. By meaning God by helping him. If you no more, who can go?
5 or 6 nuts. You can eat more than that.
Did you say 5 or 6 nuts?
Well, I thought that's what he said, that 5 or 6 nuts a week. Didn't he?
A week.
No.
No, he didn't.
He died. What did he say?
No, he was saying something. So that's all I thought I'll finish up the health lecture with. Cleanliness and anti-cancer diet. Because the others, if you just put them on what we had on the board yesterday, was it yesterday? You can get most patients back to normal. Yeah. Don't forget the first part. When a cancer patient comes to you, increase their faith in God.
Yes.
And you've got some of the texts with faith that we put on the board.
Yes.
Yeah, Esther, we got different type of cancers. Now, we have a patient here. Now, leukemia is really very rare, but it's coming very common. But different type of cancers have different causes. And mainly we actually look into lifestyle, NCDs especially. But leukemia, because we have a particular patient here. What is the cause of leukemia? What can actually develop leukemia in our life?
Could be some chronic use of some chemicals or something like that. Stress. She's been sick long time. So, leukemia is when the red blood cells are immature, not carrying oxygen. They are all circulating in the blood. So they'll cause pain.
So how
Lack
do you
of
get,
oxygen. They are immature.
and they can't become mature?
They can't become mature. They need to be got rid of.
So an alkalizing diet, would that get rid of them?
Yeah. Well, ease the pain. That's what we do. And what we need to do now is increase the oxygen intake into the bloodstream. So raw diet is very important in foods.
Juice. Juice good for cancer.
Yeah, juice. Fruit juices. Carrots, cucumber. It's good not to introduce a lot of things, so you know which one is reacting to what. That's my treatment. Me, I put them on one particular juice, maybe
Yes.
1 or 2 days,
Yes.
to see how they react to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then if it is helping, I will continue that for a
Yes.
few days.
That's how we continue to watch and see
Yeah.
what's taking place.
And if they react to it, then I will change.
Yes.
Otherwise, if it's helping them, you keep them on it for a while. Some people put a lot of changes here and there. No. I don't do that, but that's something. I won't change when people that one is helping them. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope that when you go back to your village or town that you will try to practice some of the things that you have heard on health, to help your family, to help your friends, to help your community, so that you can pass on the knowledge to help them prepare for heaven as well.